Before we do the Tanya, I mentioned this a week ago, 2 weeks ago, that is a very unique Mamar in the Alter Rebbe Parsha Kedoshim. And I meant to bring up the Sefer with me to show you the original, but it's in the Likkutei Torah, and it's probably one of the smallest Maimarim there. It's less than a half a page, probably, not a half a page. The Mamar there divided into 2 columns. It's a half of 1 column. Yeah.
About memory.
About memory, right. Right. So I just, someone was kind enough to, it's not done as professional as that's in Tanya, but it's good enough with English translation.
I remember.
Well, that's what it does say, that the Rebbe used to tell people to learn this Mamar by heart. And learning this Mamar by heart about memory will strengthen their memory. Thank you.
That's it.
This is the Mamar. Yeah.
I'm gonna do that. I'll accept it.
Just try not to forget to do it. Vehadarta. So, this parsha, the one Kedoshim, it says in Rashi, in Chumash, on this parsha, that it's a kind of a parsha that's central, like a lot of, or I think in Rashi it says most of the mitzvahs somehow are related to different details in this parsha. So it's a very central parsha. And then one of the commandments in this parsha is Vehadarta Pnei Zaken, which means you should give honor and show honor to a Zaken, to an elderly person. So generally speaking, it means someone who's older, age. It means like after the age of 70. There was actually a chassid. He was a rav in a shul, and every time he was called up to the Torah, everybody in the shul stood up as he walked to the Torah. And he used to cover his face with the talis as he was walking. I guess he managed not to crash into anything somehow. After he turned 70, he took off the talis, didn't take it off him, he uncovered it, and he used to walk regular. So they asked him what happened. So he said that he couldn't tolerate to see the honor that they're giving him. But once he turned 70, it has nothing to do with him, it's just his age. He turned 70, so he's supposed to stand up as somebody who's 70. So he didn't mind that people stood up. That's the simple meaning of the pasuk. But the Gemara says, Zeh shekona chochma, that it means not just a person who's physically elderly, but someone who acquired wisdom. And of course, when we say wisdom, we mean wisdom of Torah. But the term that's used is not somebody who is a Torah scholar, someone who studied Torah. It's a very precise wording. Shekona. Kana means acquired. In fact, generally speaking, it's used for acquisitions. When you buy something and you're selling something, it's called a kinyan. You bought it. So it means it's something which became yours. You own it. What does it mean you own it? So there's a pasuk, Shekosav v'teifseh haTorah. It's a pasuk in Yirmiyahu, which says, and those who grasp the Torah, which means there's 2 ways of studying Torah. One way of studying Torah, that you study the Torah, but I can't say that I own it. And there's another way that I could say I own it, it became mine. What does it mean? When someone grasps the Torah and it becomes ingrained in his memory, and it's engraved in his heart, constantly. Which is, by the way, also a term from a pasuk, something which is it's as if to say the paper of your heart. It's written in your heart. Let's turn the page. The Mamar Azal, as our sages tell us, Ezehu Talmud Chacham. When is a person considered a Talmud Chacham? When does he have that title? It's every person, if you ask him a question in halacha, and then it says, etc., which means etc. means, it says further in Gemara, that he doesn't hesitate, he doesn't have to stop and think. As soon as you ask him the question, he knows the answer. What? Yeah. But he has to know, he has to be so knowledgeable in the halacha that he doesn't hesitate. That's what it means. In other words, it's clear in his memory. Just like somebody would ask you, so for Shemona Esrei, do you have to stand? You don't have to think much. You know the answer immediately. That's how he knows the answer to every other question in halacha. Which means it's not only enough that he studied halacha and he got tested on it once upon a time, but that he remembers it all the time. And why is that so much different? I mean, when it comes to what's wrong, we'll have to think a little bit. He has to work hard to remember. So there's something additional here about the fact that he knows it so well, to the fact that he doesn't even have to pause and immediately knows the answer because it's clear in his memory. Because then actually there's a mitzvah to stand up in the presence of such a person, gam b'shah she'ena esek b'Torah. Even if he's not studying Torah, it's also a mitzvah to stand up for such a person. Why? Because Hashem's presence rests within this person all the time. All the time means even if he's not studying Torah, even if he's working now, he's in a store, he's in a business, he's doing personal things, Hashem's presence is in him. And how is it that Hashem's presence is in him just because this morning he learned Torah, because last week he learned Torah? No, it's because being that the Torah is engraved in his memory and in his heart, and Hashem is in the Torah, and the Torah is in me. So basically it means Hashem's presence is in me.
Doesn't everyone have a Shem?
Yep. In other words, just like a Torah scroll. If you bring a Torah scroll in the room, everyone is required to stand up.
Don't each of us have?
What?
Don't each of us have a piece of a Shem in us?
Every has an neshama, right?
So what?
No, because by a regular person, it's all hidden. But if a person studies Torah and the knowledge of Torah is clear in his head, that means that it's written in his head. So there's no difference if the Torah is written on a piece of paper or on a piece of parchment, or it's engraved in stone like the luchos. If it's written, then it's Torah, and if it has the Torah, then Hashem is there. So in this context, it's written in my mind and in my heart because I remember it. If I don't remember it, that means it's written, but somewhere in an unconscious place, in a hidden place. If it's a hidden place, it doesn't require me to stand up. Just like the Shekhinah. If I walk into a shul, I have to conduct myself differently. If I walk into the Beis Hamikdash, I have to conduct myself differently. Why? Because Hashem is there, but Hashem is everywhere. So the answer is everywhere else, Hashem is hidden. But in a place where Hashem is revealed, that warrants a different kind of behavior. What? Shouldn't we act the same? Generally speaking, in terms of fear of Hashem, awe of Hashem, respecting Hashem, it makes no difference where we are. But definitely, if I'm it's like a person who walks into the king's personal chamber and stands right in front of him, naturally, it should bring out more awe. Which means even people who are aware of Hashem's presence also act differently in an ordinary place than in a shul. The main fact, it's like Shemona Esrei. What's Shemona Esrei? Shemona Esrei, I'm standing in front of the king. If I stand in front of the king, that warrants a different kind of behavior. And it says, I am B'Zayah, look in the Zayah, also at the end of this Parsha Kedoshim. So basically, this is the point that every Yid is really, in a sense, a Torah scroll, because we have the Torah in us. And before we're even born, a Malach comes and teaches us the entire Torah. But again, we don't remember it. It's hidden. So it's there in an unconscious way. But when I study Torah, and then I don't forget it, I remember it, now it's here in a conscious way. And that's why it says that Hashem's presence is in me all the time. The Zohar is therefore, based on this, Alter Rebbe gives the following advice. Kol ish nilvav, any person that has his heart in with this desire, sheyidvenu libay, it moves him, it moves his heart. The koso nafshe, his soul yearns. The dafka b'yizbarach b'tmidas. He wants to be connected to Hashem on a constant basis. In other words, his love for Hashem and his desire is such that he wants to feel connected, not just when he's davening or when he's learning, when he's doing a mitzvah. He wants to be connected in a way that he feels that every second of the day he's connected. How can I do that? There are times where you have to spend time doing other things, personal things that you have to do that are not learning and davening. And he wants Lios Hashem Sheikhem B'Kir B'Tamid. He wanted Hashem's presence to dwell in him, again, in a more revealed way, constantly. B'lishum hefsik of period la'ilam, afilu l'rega, not even for a second. Normally we say these are great tzaddikim. Even tzaddikim are not every second. There's certain tzaddikim like Avraham Avinu, Yitzchak, where it says in Tanya, they were called a merkava. A merkava means that not even 1 second, every movement, every nuance was connected to Hashem. How could an ordinary person expect that? So the answer is, a person should acquire Torah knowledge and have it written up in his memory. And when we say written up in his memory, means not just the content, but the actual words. The same words that are in the Torah scroll are in my head. The same words that's in Gemara are in my head. And then, even when I'm not focusing on Torah, I'm involved with personal needs. Like I said, going to work or eating or sleeping. The Torah is there in his brain, in his memory. And in this place, the Yud of Hashem's name shines. Actually, on the bottom here, they made a little chart, which came up in our classes before also, how the 4 letters of Hashem's name, Yud, Kei, Vav, Kei, correspond to Chochmah, Bina, and the Spheres and Malchus. So the Yud is the Chochmah, and the Hey is Bina, the Vav, which is number 6, are the 6 Midos, and the last one is Malchus, that's the last Hey in Hashem's name. What's the connection between Yud and Chochmah? First of all, because Chochmah is like the source, it's the seed, it's the spark that includes and all the details of the Bina in general, but that's also what says that's the source of memory. Memory is connected to Chochmah. And we see even practically speaking, thank you very much, even practically speaking, you'll take one of these, yeah. I just want to conclude, even practically speaking, if you have a lot of details, it's usually harder to remember. The way to remember something is if you take all the details and you try to put it into a nutshell, you put it into one point, that'll help you remember all the details, which is what Chokhmah is. Chokhmah is all the details of Bina in one Nekudah. Yeah.
I don't really have my question fully formed,
But
it's like, is like the first like flash, but memory implies that it's already processed. So how would they not like contradict?
First of all, Chokhmah has many functions to it. It's not just one thing. But and Chokhmah, yes, Chokhmah means when I understand the core of the concept, the essence of the concept, which is the source of everything else. The reason why we say it's a flash is because Chokhmah is more abstract. Chokhmah doesn't have any form yet. It's just an abstract. It's the essence, the most abstract form of the concept. And an abstract concept we can grasp. And in fact, people who are on that level and can understand things on a Chokhmah level have to immediately try to find something to apply it to connect it to. Otherwise, it won't be grounded. It'll just float away. But on the other hand, memory is another function of Chokhmah. And like I said, that happens to do with the fact that in Chokhmah, everything is in one Nekudah, and that's the way we could remember things better also. Even with ourselves. Like always say this by the Mamar. When you end the Mamar, try to, what is the main point of the Mamar? What is the main point of, remember the main point, and you know how all the details lead up to that point. So by remembering the main point, you remember the details. But if you want to remember all the details as it is, that'll usually, that becomes very difficult. So I guess Chochmah is connected to memory. And where do we see this? Shalachim b'parshas Kadesh li kol b'cher. This is the parsha where Hashem says that the firstborn the firstborn belongs to Hashem. And the Kabbalah explains that the firstborn is like Chochmah, which is the beginning, the firstborn, the first step of the wisdom that's born. So it says it should be something which will be a memory between your eyes. So basically, if I study Chochmah and it becomes ingrained embedded in my wisdom, in my memory, then it stays with me, and Hashem's presence is always with me. This will explain another thing. This is the reason. Lama, we're on page numbers here. Can read them, right? Okay. Some you could read, some you can't. So it's page 9. The pages might not follow. I mean, it might be skipping a page because I made copies, but probably the full text has other things, commentary and explanations. I just made a copy of the Mamar itself. This gives us another reason. It says in Halacha, the laws of Torah study, and this is in the name of the Sifri, it says these words, Mitzvah kol echad ve'echad leda kol HaTorah. It's a mitzvah for every person to know the entire Torah. What does that mean? Shein kol tiyag mitzvahs d'dukayim, to know the 613 mitzvahs and their details, how you're supposed to observe the mitzvahs, which is one of the things that we also gain, by the way, by learning Sefer HaMitzvahs of the Rambam. When you do every single day, you learn a mitzvah, you're gaining that knowledge of all the 613 mitzvahs. Why is it a mitzvah? Why is it so important to know everything? When you learn about a mitzvah, observing a mitzvah means you draw down godly light. So if I'm learning about the mitzvahs, I'm drawing down godly light on every one of my 613 parts of my soul. So this is something which has come up before. Generally speaking, we talk about the fact that the soul has 10 parts. Ches, Chochmah, Bina, Das, Chesed, Gvura, Tiferes, Netzach, Yesod, Malchus. Where does 613 come from? So it says that even though it's 10, but it's subdivided to 613. How? That's a little bit more complicated, but it does say how it broken down to that way. But there's an example of something which is in essence 10 and gets broken down to 613. And where's the example? The example is Aseres HaDibros. Rashi says that Aseres HaDibros, if you count the letters, there's 620 letters in Aseres HaDibros, because there's 613 mitzvahs and there's 7 mitzvahs D'Rabbanan. But the commandments themselves are only 10. And Rashi says there's a sefer, which is, that sefer also shows us which of the 613 are branches of which one of the 10. But by the way, what we do see from this is that 10 could branch out into 613. Same thing here. Yes, we have 10 faculties, starting from Chochmah until Malchus, but they all branch out and become 613. So normally the number 613 is applied to the body, that there are 248 organs and the 365 veins. But it's because the body and soul are in sync with each other. So just like the body has 613 aspects, the soul also has 613 aspects, which are the 10 spheres as they're broken down to this detail. And every mitzvah is designed to bring godliness down to one aspect of our neshama. Even though we don't observe all the mitzvahs, First of all, there's a ton of mitzvahs that are only for Kohanim. There's a ton of mitzvahs that are for men, not for women. There's a ton of mitzvahs that are in the base of Mikdash, they don't apply now. So when you learn about them, you're also drawing down that light. So if you learn and you have the knowledge of all 630 mitzvahs, you're bringing down not just in general Hashem's presence, but Hashem's presence in every single part of my neshama, 613, by learning 613 mitzvahs. Yeah.
So, like, when we study the simple version of Ramban, you know, the one mitzvah a day, and it's not all the fulfilled already. I guess, yeah, that obviously, I don't think that apply to this, but obviously it does.
That's what it is. It brings down Hashem's life in each organ. So, maybe we are missing a page, I think.
It's not like studying the simple version, like this, without going into all the.
Right. That's also good enough. I don't know, it's there, we're missing something. This is page 9, so we're missing page 10 and 11, 2 pages. Let me see if I can read it. Here, the original, I don't know, I didn't come out. Line. No, it is the original. It's page 10 that's missing, page 11 we have. Okay.
Let me go down.
So maybe somebody will run down to my office. You're gonna run down?
Yeah.
Okay, exercise.
What am I doing? Where do I find it?
Oh, that's another thing. What are you doing? It's on the windowsill in my office. And the book is called Likkutei Torah. Ask Mrs. Yap if you have a question. She'll know which was going to
Okay. And I'm bringing up, asking her to make copies.
No, let's bring it up.
At 11. I think it's the end of the book.
What?
I think on the end of the book.
Oh, wait a second. We might have, you see the end of the book. Okay, let's see.
Which page did you say?
11.
Yeah, I have 11.
Yeah.
It starts with
Oh,
learning.
we have it again at the end of the book with 10 and 11. Yeah. Okay, just say this should be up for exercise sometime later. Okay, thank you very much, Rivka. The page, you know what? I was thinking that. I remember from last year we had the same problem. So that means that I have to take care of it right now when I finish this class, so I won't have it next year. Okay. Let's go to page 10. Koshikosav, as it's written, Shir Shirim, Kulach Yafa Rayasi Umum Ein Bach. That Hashem says to the Yidden, you are completely beautiful. There is no blemish in you. What does that mean? Kulach Daika. That every part of you has godliness in it. Not just general, but every part, because you learn and you studied all the 613 mitzvahs. So remember, generally speaking, anything you study of Torah, and it's in my mind, that already has Hashem's presence in me. No matter what it is, if I know it by heart, and it's there, and someone asked me, can you tell me by heart what it says here? And I don't have to stop and hesitate. I know it right away. That means it's there. But there's something additional if I learn all 613. And then he explains the reason why the number is 613. This also explains that the source of mitzvahs are in, if you remember in the Mamar Adam Kiyakra, we learned that there's the Adam on a higher level, the Adam that was seen in that prophetic vision, sitting on a throne. It's referring to a level in the spiritual realm. It's called Adam. Why is it called Adam? Because it has the same, it's something spiritual, but the structure of it and the whole infrastructure of that spiritual realm is like a human being down here. And there's also 613 aspects. So basically, there's 613 aspects in the spiritual realm, 613 aspects in the neshama, 613 aspects in the guf, 613 mitzvahs, because that's what the whole purpose is. The whole purpose of mitzvahs is to create a connection between Hashem and me, and we want that connection to be all-encompassing. So the 613 bridges connecting the 613 aspects in Hashem with the 613 aspects in my neshama, and that connects to the 613 aspects of my guf. That's why it's from Adam, like it says, Admus hakisei dmus kamar Adam. Okay, so now we know that it's a good idea to learn all 630 mitzvahs and all its details. However, because of the difficulty of the times, in other words, in Golus, and as Golus increases, it gets harder, yeah.
It's the same idea as like it's under 13 straight that I'm using trouble.
Yeah. Because of the difficult times, the Keitzer Ruach Das Hamasik, and because we are deficient in our ability to understand things deeply, and because of the depth of the concept, he gives like three reasons why we are inferior to the way things were years ago. First of all, years ago, the situation in the world was more accommodating for you to be able to dedicate themselves to Torah study and to remember, because there wasn't such a difficult time with Golus. So the mere fact that we're in Golus and we're suffering in Golus makes it harder to accomplish this. The second thing is that we are deficient in our ability to understand, and the concepts are extremely deep. And Torah is so vast. So I'll call upon him. The Rebbe gives a suggestion. At least try to like strengthen yourself and get yourself together, at least to acquire and to ingrain in my mind and my heart, hey Chum Shetera Moshe Asher Kozim Pek, just the 5 Chumashim, just to know that by heart. That's all. Not much. Which is not that easy either, but that's like a small thing. And why that? Because being that the Chumash is the root of the whole Torah, the written Torah and the revealed Torah and the oral Torah. So therefore, when I'm learning the 5 Chumashim, I know that by heart. That means I have the whole Torah in my head, everything from beginning to end, because everything is included in the 5 Chumashim. Yeah.
So just to clarify, it means to memorize like all the psukim.
Yeah. Yeah, start now.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Is this why the boys on Shabbos do the thing where they read it twice and then the on Glass?
Why we do that?
Is that to memorize it?
I don't think so. No.
Do people do this nowadays?
People memorize the whole Chumash? No. I'll tell you what, those people that read the Torah, they know how to read it, but usually they remember much better things by heart because it comes along with the song. Like today, the kids are learning Tanya by heart. They learn it with songs. I don't know if you ever seen it in the homes. They come home from school and they learn. Little kids are doing the whole parak Tanya by heart, but it's all with the song, and the song helps them remember it. So the same thing is with the Torah. Those people who read the Torah, especially people who are doing it for a long time, they usually can, just because they remember the tune, they could also remember the words. But by the way, this will also be an answer to you. I understand you were asking when we do the Rambam, Sefer Mitzvah, we're not doing all the details, but like it says here, once you have the source, the details are included. So the same thing here, once you have the source, which is the Rambam, this is and tells us each mitzvah, the details are included. So under our circumstances, that will be good enough for us. K'neda, as it's known, that Rabbi Kiva here Deirish al kol koitz v'koitz. This is one of the most amazing things found in Gemara. That Rabbi Kiva would expound, which means he would interpret and learn things from mounds of Torah laws from the little crowns on each letter. There's a line here. There's 3 lines there on this letter, that letter. These little lines teach us Torah laws. That means every word teaches us something, every letter teaches us something, even the lines on top of the letters teach us something. So everything in the oral Torah is hidden in the written Torah. But they're hidden in a very deep way in the hidden worlds. Okay, that's the written Torah. Just another little bit from the oral Torah. If you want to learn the oral Torah, you should also learn something from the oral Torah by heart. What's that? Al Kopanim, at least, the very least, you should acquire the entire order of Mishnayos and Kotshim. So,
Done.
you know that Mishnayos has thousands of Mishnahs, but it's broken up into 6 parts. And one part is all the laws of Karbanis. So just do that one of the 6 parts, and you'll have the oral Torah. And why that? 2 reasons. Number one, it's called Chochmah B'Divrei Hazal. That this particular part is called Chochmah. It means, obviously, this is more connected to the memory. And another thing is, Mechaper V'Nesim Shalodam, K'mei Shomar Arizal, that Arizal says, learning about the Karbanis also brings atonement to a person. So you have some side benefits there, by the way. So, where do we stand in all this? You have to understand, years ago, it's very hard to imagine. I don't know if you ever go, when you go to one of the homes, we used to have a bookcase here, so I was able to show it, but we don't have that anymore. The whole Shas. The Shas is thousands of pages, and it's Gemara, Rashi, Tosfos. It used to be quite common years ago, Torah scholars, that you can ask them anything, anywhere, and they'll know it. I think I told you once, we had a teacher here in 770. There was also someone like that in Montreal, the Rosh Hashiva. There was Rabbi Hirschbaum. He actually would do this for entertainment, that he would read lines of Gemara with the commentary just by heart. Yeah.
All of Gemara? And
Any Gemara you want. I went to a wedding, to a friend's wedding in Montreal. We got off the bus. We all walked into the yeshiva, and he walked over and gave everybody shalom. But he took your hand. He wouldn't let go. He says, "What are you learning?" "I'm learning Gemara Rosh Hashanah." "What page?" When he told him the page, he just started reciting word for word.
not like what the pin test is? Oh, yeah, the pin test.
The what?
The pin test? That's
But
only
in
one
yeshivas-
page.
I mean, to stick a pin in it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
same idea. Yeah. And there were people who knew that. You took a pin.
That's real.
Yeah, they were.
It's super rare though.
What?
It's super rare.
Now it's super rare. Years ago, it was not that every person was like that, but there were much more people like that. That the whole Torah was when the Alter Rebbe once met one of the Torah scholars, because I don't remember how did the clock get there? Somebody moved it. When the Alter Rebbe was in jail, if you remember, there was a story where someone said that I'm going to do something to help you get out of jail. He was really from the opposite. He was from the opposition, but on the condition that you'll meet with 3 great rabbis who are from the opposition camp and debate the issue of Chassidus with them. And Alter Rebbe agreed. And there are 3 people that he met. One of the 3 people he met was such a Torah scholar. He respected nobody. He was greater than her. He was like, unfortunately, these people were very big Torah scholars, but they didn't have the bittul and refinement. So he never respected anyone. Alter Rebbe walked in, he hardly even looked at him. Wanted to see if he was a Torah scholar, so he asked him, how many times in the Gemara does it say Abaya and Rava? These are names of 2 very common sages. So Alter Rebbe instantly gave him a number. So he said, no, it's 1 less. He said, no, it's my. Alter Rebbe said, this is the correct number. Anyway, they argued, and then they opened the Gemara, and he showed him that in one place it says Rabbe with a hey, not Rava with an aleph. There are 2 sages. One is called Rabbe, and one is called Rava. So, I mean, this is only a computer can do it today. You put in a search in computer, how many times it say Rava in the Gemara, in a second, it gives you an answer. But these were human beings, and they're kind of brains like our computers and more.
The Alter Rebbe was the one that was right.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then when Alter Rebbe walked out, he escorted the Alter Rebbe. People were shocked. He was giving him honor. He said he's a brilliant Torah scholar. the meeting these three people brought tremendous calm in a lot of areas in that time.
So how is he right? Because the older of his one
They will
more.
argue how many times the name Rava is found in Gemara. So there's two names. One is Rava, you have that in Tanya, I think in chapter 7, and one is Rabba, that's in chapter 1 in Tanya. So both those sound the same, they look the same, but one is with a hey, one is with an aleph. So he asked him how many times did it say Rava? And he told him one of these places, it's not Rava, it's Rabba. That's the difference.
But the older had one less.
I don't remember, it was
Okay.
one less or one more, but the
Right,
difference was in
one.
one, the whole shots. Right.
I know that's.
Those that know say that you cannot turn 3 pages in Gemara without one of these two names. That's how common they are. And by the way, interesting enough, nobody gives their children a name, Rava or Abaya today.
Why?
I don't know. A lot of people have this question. These are names in Gemara. We live with these names. So the halachas are based on these sages. And yet, you don't. I ever heard somebody say my son's name is Abaya. Rava, these are Aramaic names from the olden days.
Which generation were they?
Which they were Amoraim, was Gemara after Mishnah. But I would just want to say, by the way, if you know Shema by heart, if you know Ashrei by heart, even if you know certain parts of davening by heart, it's also Torah, it's from Tillim. So you do have it in you, and if you don't, it's one of the things you could learn by heart, even just the first portion of Shema. If you know it by heart, that means you have a part of Torah written in you. Yeah, that's what, I mean, the Rebbe chose these 12 passages, which means that to a certain extent, the Rebbe saw something in these 12 that they're also very general, and by children only by heart. They have Torah in their heads by heart. Yeah. Yeah.
So memorizing this mimer, I'm just a little bit confused because it's like you're memorizing something that's telling you to memorize something, but you're.
Obviously, this mimer has a certain spiritual power to it. If you look in the beginning, it says that the Friedrich Rebbe writes that my father, the Rebbe Rashab, the year that he passed, for months before, he was talking to me about this manzal, and I didn't get it. I had no idea why he's doing that. But apparently, he did that because he wanted the Friedrich Rebbe to remember everything that he experienced with his father, everything that he heard from his father. And because the time was coming that we're going to say goodbye, he was talking about this mimer. And it goes back to the Baal Shem Tov, the Magid, apparently, I think the Mezritch Magid and the Alter Rebbe, that there's something about learning this mimer, that there's a sikha that I put it here, where it actually talks about the difference between this mimer. Yeah, here it says in the bottom, it's in Hebrew, I don't think they translated it. But it says here, these words again. That reveals the nefesh, the ruach, and the neshama of the person that learns it. When you learn this mimer, that brings out the yechida. Can you imagine? So obviously, this mimer itself has a lot of spiritual power to it. And when people wrote to the Rebbe that they're having difficulty with memory, the Rebbe would say, "Chazer this mimer by heart, and that'll help you with memory."
Wow. Okay, cool.
What about in general? If we want to
That's
memorize
besides
things?
blueberries. What?
In general, if we want to memorize things, what would be the stages?
What would be the best thing to memorize?
Yeah.
The entire Torah. Start with that.
No, I think if one is going to memorize other things by heart, try to memorize things that, first of all, there are things that the Rebbe encouraged people to memorize, because besides the fact that it's Torah, it also has something that is more effective, has an impact on your life. Like, for example, chapter 41 in Tanya. That's something the Rebbe urged a lot of people to learn by heart. Not the whole chapter, but from the beginning to the word Hamelach. We'll see. And also, it's not a lot, and it's encouraged very often to remember. What is it about? It's about the general acceptance and awareness that Hashem is watching over me, and accepting Hashem's sovereignty. And many people actually think over what it says there before they start davening in the morning.
So, in English, I mean, or should we be memorizing it from time to memorizing it?
Obviously, this is about memorizing it in Hebrew, but I would imagine if someone can do the Hebrew, you can do it in English because it's still a translation of the Hebrew. Yeah, because you have to remind me of remake the booklet. Right? There's some mistake in the way the pages are set up there. Like, no mistake? Okay, I'll give you Shabbos, everybody. Are there any extra ones on the table?